Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you know if you're listening to the sound of my voice, then you're tuned in to another episode of Marking Out Amongst Friends, the podcast. It's your boy, Jay Riddy, in the building. And of course, when I'm in the building, you know I'm not in here alone. Of course, I'm in here with my compadre, my ace, my partner in podcast, Lady Great One. Go ahead and say hi to the people. Lady Great One.
Oh, yes. Here I am. Sorry to cause any delays or any confusion, but yes, I'm here. I'm in the building. It's live. We on tonight. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, so I hope y'all are excited.
Absolutely. And you know when she's in the building, you know what we in store for, and that's swerves and curves. All right. Tonight, we're going to talk about a few different topics. Of course, everybody has been buzzing all week about All Elite Wrestling and its debut, the whole roster reveal. So we're going to chop it up and spend some time talking about that. We got a special guest in the building tonight. He's going to chop it up with us as well. But first, before we get into any of that, you know what I'm about to do. I'm about to hit my damn music. Wait. I'm sorry, the record is just a little bit dirty. Hold on. Stop it. All right, here we go.
Off the top with the topics. Leader of the new school, ain't no way to stop us. Mark it out, screaming loud, tell me who you with. Competition is none, cause we lunatics. Walk with me down these roads if you're all in. I love the feeling, baby, time to go to work again. Come together like a fist and we do it proud. Light it up and burn it down, cause we mark it out now.
Was that not hot? Oh my goodness. Somebody extinguished the studio. Oh my God, he just blazed that track. If you're listening to us right now, if you like that track, if you thought that was dope, then I want to go ahead and introduce none other than the creator of that track. One of my boys. I've known this man probably since middle school. He's an MC. He's got tracks on YouTube. He's also a fellow wrestling enthusiast, such as myself. I'm talking about none other than my man, Chill P, is in the building.
Yeah, what's going on, man? Man, what an intro, man. I feel like I just made a hot tag or something, man.
Yo, man, like I have been waiting to play that track all week. I have been waiting to do the podcast just to play that track. We can go home now. Podcast over. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
For sure. So we're glad to have you on the show. Like I was saying, man, you know, you do your rapping thing. You're a fellow wrestling enthusiast like myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really good to have you on the podcast, man. You comment on a lot of posts that we post in the Game Runners, and you know, it's always good to have somebody else's insight, man.
Oh yeah, man. I love being a part of the Game Runners. You know, I just kind of try to bring a little bit of entertainment in it and just trying to see what everybody's thinking about in this wrestling world. There's a lot of us. I think we run the world. There's a lot of more of us than people think, and it's just good stuff to talk about.
For sure. Well, you know, right now, if y'all are listening, also, if you can kind of tell a little bit. I'm sounding a little bit under the weather. I'm a little congested. I feel real Gucci Man-ish 2008 right now. But I'm thugging it out because we definitely got some hot topics to talk about tonight. First on the plate, I want to bring up this All Elite Wrestling. So for those of you who haven't been paying attention or those who are not among the wrestling community, this promotion is created by son of a plumber, Cody Rhodes, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, who are all collectively known as the Elite. This is one of the bigger indie factions out there in non-WWE, especially the Young Bloods. Cody Rhodes, of course, you know, son of Dusty Rhodes, former WWE star, went to the independent scene, and his career skyrocketed. These guys have taken on a task that a lot of people have done before, and not many people have been successful in it, in starting their own company. How did you guys feel when they first announced this? And Chill, if you want to go first, since you're the guest on the show, the guest of honor, go right ahead.
Oh man, first thing I thought was, I'll be honest, this is a game changer, man. I feel like this is gonna up the ante as far as the wrestling world. I think Vince, in my opinion, Vince has been known to be a knee-jerk reaction type of guy, and I think with the popularity, especially with AEW's perfect timing, I think it's going to cause changes for the WWE as well. So all around, I think it's going to be a positive for the whole wrestling universe.
For sure. Lady Great One?
I mean, he hit the nail on the head when he said that. All Elite is going to be something that is really going to rock our wrestling world, so to speak. It is going to, I want to say, elevate the careers of some who may not do justice to WWE, not in a negative way. I'm not trying to say that those people aren't there, but they will be able to have a little bit more creative freedom than what they would do if they were members of the WWE team. Now, I'm very, very interested to see what will develop of this and who all will show up, but we're going to get into that in just a minute.
For sure. So, All Elite really is living up to the name. I think I was super excited to hear about this just because nobody wants to just watch one faction all the time. You know, I grew up with competition. I grew up probably before I even knew much about WWF back in the day, WWE now. Before I even knew much about WWF back in the day, I was all about WCW when I was a kid. I was all about Sting. I grew not to like much of Hulk Hogan when I was, growing up, but as a kid, I loved Hulk Hogan. I had the Hulk Hogan and the Legion of Doom wrestling buddies back in the day. Wrestling buddies, that's a real throwback. Like, you're old if you had a wrestling buddy back in the day. But the whole competition thing is something that most of the fan base has been craving for, not to quote unquote push, the big company WWE out of business, because let's be honest, nobody's going to push them out of business. But we're hoping that this is going to be a company that's going to grow big enough to at least light a fire under their ass, so to speak. And that's all you can really ask for. So as far as competition, we see right now, as far as the roster that we have that's been announced, the number one pick that everybody was buzzing about, Chris Jericho, former WWE champion, multi-time champion, probably one of the greatest, top 5 greatest to ever step foot into the ring, signed. Not only Chris Jericho, we have Christopher Daniels, we have Frankie Kazarian, Hangman Adam Page. Of course, we got the Young Bloods. Of course, we got Neville in there as well, and many others, Scorpio Sky. So it's a jam-packed roster right now of a lot of big names in the indies. Do you think that they're going to add more big names? And if you do, how long do you think it's going to take before this becomes quote-unquote competition for WWE?
Well, I think the dominoes are going to start falling pretty soon. They have the Las Vegas show coming up in a few months, so I think it's a game changer as far as a lot of the wrestlers who have left WWE and kind of in between the indies, like Swagger and Del Rio. I can see them pivoting and being like, well, hold on, I might want to take a look at this, especially with Jericho and Page and all those guys signing and pretty much promoting that they having great contracts, and even Cody saying that they're going to bring out good contracts. I think and just to piggyback off the last point, I think that's just going to cause dominoes to fall, and it's going to make WWE. I think wrestlers who are not necessarily being used right now are happy with their contracts. Look at AEW, and that's going to cause trips and all of them to try to up the ante on contracts and better storylines for these wrestlers that are not being used.
Okay, Lady Great One.
All right. Well, I was doing a little research, a little bit of reading there. I did not know that the owners of the Jacksonville Jaguars are actually the people who were help funding this. So that's some news to me. Like I said, I was just doing a little research. I have it right here in front of me. But like some of the personnel, a lot of these people I don't know, but then again, there are several people I do. I'm just gonna go down the roster real quick and let y'all hear like some more of the other names. So far, we have for the male wrestlers, we have Sema, Jericho, Christopher Daniels, Cody Rhodes, of course, El Lindemann, Kazarian, Hangman Page, Joey Janela. That name sounds very familiar. If I'm not mistaken, no. The name sounds familiar, but I'm not exactly 100% of who that is. So let me not get out here and start saying something that I don't know, but I have heard the name before. Mac Jackson and Nick Jackson, of course. Max Friedman, Pac, who is also known to the WWE universe as Neville, Scorpio Sky, Tahiro Yamamura, and T-Hawk. For the female wrestlers so far, it's only Brandy Rhodes, Britt Baker, and Penelope Ford, who's the valet of Joey Janela. And in backstage personnel, we have Billy Gunn, the one Billy Gunn, BJ Whitmer, Dana Massey, and Jeff Jones. So, so far, this roster is looking pretty good. Like I said, there's a few names on that list that I'm not 100% sure of, but I know the club pretty well. And of course, I know SoCal and Censor, SCU, in the building.
SCU!
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
This is the worst city I have ever been in. Gotta give it up to that. This is absolutely the worst city I have ever been in. But otherwise, like you were saying before, there are a lot of members who may not be happy with their contracts. And mind you, WWE superstars are independent contractors. So there might be a few people who might jump ship due to their booking. And then again, there might be some people who might get that extra fire underneath them to be like, hey, well, let me start the show out a little bit more, i.e. a certain female that I'm going to talk about a little bit later who feels like she's a little bit of lackadaisical when it comes to certain things. But we'll get into that. If you know me, you already know who I'm referring to. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and see where it goes from here. And I wish them nothing but the best of luck. And I'm ready for some Monday night wars, some Tuesday night fights, something. I'm ready to see a little bit of competition.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, we have not, while we're all excited, I will not try to pop, the bubble and, I won't try to dump on the excitement right now. But, I mean, as excited as we are right now, this is not something that we've never seen before. And we've seen many companies come up in, the United States that have tried to compete with WWE, most notably TNA, Impact Wrestling, who's tried to compete, brought in some big names. They brought in at one time, they had Hulk Hogan. They had Kurt Angle pretty much winning every title in the company. Jeff Hardy, but then you had the guys that came up in TNA that we didn't know who became stars, like AJ Styles, the Samoa Joes and people like that. So I'm not going to be the person that jumps ahead and says that they're going to be able to compete right away, but I do think that they will do good start-off numbers just off of the hype alone, and they've already built a Japanese fan base by being in New Japan for so long. So that's one thing they do have over TNA, so to speak, is the international fan base. Now, it's been said that Jericho went on record to say that he would not have signed a deal if they didn't have a strong TV deal behind it. So I'm wondering who they are going to end up signing this TV deal with, or who they are with, and pretty much what the time slot is for this.
I think, like, being a wrestling investigator that I try to be on TV, but I try to see. I would actually look through. Well, to go off of what you just said, I think they could probably compete. I think that initial excitement of competing is what's going to help them sustain, because, like I said, the timing of this is perfect. How many stories have you heard recently, in the past year, of wrestlers who are unhappy with their position in the WWE? Even as recently as Rusev still saying that even though he's a champion, it's just crazy. So it's like the momentum mixed with the wrestlers that they can obtain, mixed with a billionaire owner financially backing them. I think the sky's the limit for this, and I think it's gonna be crazy.
So my man Sean Mark, who's been on the show a couple of times, just hit me with a comment. He said, "Let's get straight to the point. No one cares who Zack Ryder or Kurt Hawkins goes to AEW." So he's wanting to get rid of those two guys already and put him on the show. There are a lot of big names in WWE that, like you were just saying, that are saying that they're not happy with their position, who have verbalized it. There's been talks that maybe if Dolph Ziggler, whenever his contract runs out, that he could be gone. But I think, didn't he just re-sign a huge contract last year, if I'm not mistaken? I think
Dolph signed I think a 3-year deal last year.
Yeah, so the promotion is gonna they're gonna have to be strong for a couple of years before you can see Dolph come. But there's a lot of guys that are probably really big friends with a lot of the people in the organization of AEW, and that's what really makes it interesting. You probably got guys that are like Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn, guys who, Kevin Owens' place has been at the top, but then they haven't really been doing much with Sami Zayn, one guy who they haven't really been doing a whole lot with. So they could potentially steal a lot of big names from WWE going forward. And we know that the wrestling is going to be there. I think the only thing personally that I want to see is how they're going to develop weekly stories. The difference between indies and, having something like WWE is WWE puts on countless shows weekly. They put on pay-per-views monthly. In the indies, you probably have one big show a month that people look for. Most other promotions, you got a pay-per-view every couple of months, a few months from now and then. So I think the biggest struggle for them is going to be surviving off of the hype initially, but giving a product that's going to say, all right, not only am I going to sustain the fanship that I have now, but you got to deliver something that's going to bring in new fans, so to speak.
Well, I know that there's one thing that I was just reading as well, that they have not had a wellness policy put in place yet. So I don't know. That's something that I feel that a lot of sports are already doing. Maybe they just haven't mentioned anything about it, but definitely going to having some sort of wellness policy in place, because you don't want to have I hate to say this, but Jeff Hardy in the mid 2010s, early 2010s, before he made his road back to recovery, that match that he had with Sting, we don't want another one of those incidents. So let's definitely see if they're going to put a wellness policy in place, because the safety, of course, of all the performers and entertainers out there is top notch, in my opinion. So if you're going to do this, you've got to make sure that you're at least safe. And I know some countries may not have a stricter policy on certain things like doping, obviously with Russia and the Olympics. That's been huge news as of late. And that's just not, of course, with like wrestling or anything like that. This is the Olympics, period. A whole country was banned for doping. So there definitely has to be some sort of strict wellness policy guidelines as well with All Elite. And I'm not sure if they have mentioned anything about that or if they will, but I personally hope they do.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's a few wrestlers out there that we know, if not in the WWE, that yeah, they'll probably, if they didn't have a wellness policy, they will have to wait some time for them to get clean before they can enter in the AEW. So yeah, I agree with you 100% on that.
Okay, so the fact that we're naming a couple of people that are potentially talks, let's play the fantasy booking game right now. Who's somebody, not even necessarily in WWE, but somebody in general that you would love to see that may not be signed already that you would like to see signed to AEW?
Oh man, Toy, you want to take this one first? I gotta think.
So people who are not signed with WWE sign with AEW.
They can either.
That was your question.
So anybody that's currently right now that's not in AEW, so it doesn't necessarily have to be WWE, but it could be WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor. You know, who would you like to see come to AEW at this point?
Well, to come to AEW, there's a few people I would like to see come to WWE before I say to AEW. I mean, like the top two being the two missing members of the Bullet Club. I would love to see Marty Scurll and the one and only Kenny Omega, both of them in the E, not the AEW. Mind you, neither one of them were signed when I was mentioning that glorious little list of names that they've put together so far. However, on the flip side of things, I think personally that maybe they can get some former Bullet Club members, perhaps maybe the Good Brothers would like to jump ship and go to AEW. I'm not saying that I would personally like to see that, but I mean, if they're not going to be used effectively, then I think that would be an absolute great move for them to go with their Bullet Club brethren and join up in AEW, and maybe possibly the Bullet Club Firing Squad as well with Tama Tonga.
That was on my list right there. That was definitely one on my list. I think that Tama Tonga needs to be in America. People need to see his talent over here.
Bingo. Yeah, 100% agree with that.
You got more? I didn't mean to cut you off. I just had to agree with Tama.
Oh no! That was basically it. Those were my three people that I think need to go to AEW. But there are a couple of women that I kind of want to see like do more, because we all know TNA is a sinking ship. Whatever their name is this week, whatever unimportant channel that they're on this week, I would like to see some of the females, the former knockouts of old and new, possibly make an appearance over there. Maybe one like Angelina Love, or maybe Velvet.
Whoa.
And maybe one or two women who are not being currently utilized on the WWE roster, like Dana Brooke, or possibly you could even say Alicia Fox. Both of them would be good competition, and I wouldn't mind seeing a Brandy Rose Alicia Fox match. I think that would be a little crazy there. I think that would be a little nice.
Yeah, I think personally, in order to make an even bigger buzz, that you need a really, really big name. Like Jericho is a big name, don't get me wrong, but Jericho is one of those guys, he's a journeyman. So, you know, we see Jericho go to a lot of different companies, so it's not really a big, super huge deal. He's just the most well-known name that's on the roster. But I would think, and a lot of people who know me would probably be surprised at this, my number one pick that I would like to see in AEW right now is Phillip Brooks, CM Punk. if you have the fun, CM Punk, your UFC career is over. It's a wrap. You know, I know you're out here doing this just to see if you can do it. You want to prove it to yourself and whatnot, but it's a wrap. It's over. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and sign to AEW. I think that there, just alone, that signing.
I'm looking at it the opposite way. I want Philip Jack Brooks to come back, CM Punk, to WWE, because the one thing that can help the tanking ratings on Raw is if they actually give the people what they want, and if they're listening to the people all the time are still chanting CM Punk. They were just doing it the other night. So CM Punk, if they can come to an agreement and bring him back in WWE, AEW can close up shop, in my opinion.
I think that they chant CM Punk for trolling purposes now, more so than they actually really, really want CM Punk to come back. No, don't get me wrong. If CM Punk was to come back right now, he'd come back to probably one of the most epic pops ever. If he were to come back to WWE right now. However, if he signs with AEW, that gives you another huge legitimate name that's well known not only in wrestling culture, but now he's gotten his name out there in popular culture as well. And I
definitely agree.
And I think that you got somebody in that instance that you can take him and you can use him to build up somebody that maybe didn't have as big of a name as before. You can use him to bring up Neville or Pac. You can use him to bring up, say if you mentioned Marty Scurll before, you can use him to build up Marty Scurll. You can use CM Punk as a face. You can use him as a heel. I think that's the number one pick that you go for right now that you have a really good chance of signing, depending on when his contract with the UFC is over with. Now, other than CM Punk, I would say if we're going to pick free agents, guys from WWE, honestly, I would love to see Sami Zayn over there. Just because I don't think Sami has a big future with WWE. I don't think that outside of the fan base that he already has, I don't see him building much more of a fan base in WWE. And I definitely don't see him being in the main event picture. So him being in WWE could definitely bolster his career and probably improve his stock. Other than that, you already named my one earlier from Tama Tonga and actually the whole, OG squad that they have over there. So yeah, definitely follow up with those two. Other than that, I mean, anybody else is just icing on the cake, so to speak. Chill, who do you think will be a good fit for AEW?
All right, so sitting here thinking, and since we playing fantasy, so this is pure fantasy, but if thinking and looking up and down the WWE roster and seeing someone who's particularly not necessarily not being used, but you can tell has cooled off in the authority's eyes, or Vince's eyes rather. How about Shinsuke Nakamura? How about him jumping ship? Not necessarily being their top champion, but one of their top guys as far as attractions. Like Shinsuke, they have that partnership contract with New Japan that allowed their wrestlers to still wrestle over there. So he'll get a great schedule. He'll get probably more money than he's making in WWE, and he'll still be able to go back to Japan, make some epic matches while being back in the States as well and being a part of an organization with some that's will hopefully going places. So I honestly take a look at that, because right now, if I feel, to me, if he were to really want to leave or really want to be disgruntled and try to get out, I think he probably will. I don't think they are real high on Nakamura right now. So I think that'll probably be a great name for AEW.
Okay. You got any others?
Like Toy said, I think the Good Brothers would be good. They're not being used. I would like to see, I'm still a big fan. I mentioned him before, Jack Swagger, man. I would love to see Jack Swagger in AEW and really pretty much taking the Cody Rhodes approach to I'm gonna get a big name be a big name outside of WWE, hopefully get leverage to probably get back to the big company. So I would love to see Jack Swagger.
I'm on board with that one. You know, I've been a Jack Swagger fan since day one. I think that it would probably be at this point it would be kind of hard to get Swagger a little bit because I think he's with what's the company, Lucha Underground? Is that who he's with right now?
Oh wow!
I think he's the world.
Did
champion.
not know that.
Yeah, I think he's the world champion of Lucha Underground. I think he just won it with some type of underhanded tactic not too long ago. What?
That's cool. I like that. Yeah, I didn't know, but hey, big ups to him for being a world champion. I just want Jack Swagger to be a big name. I don't know. I'm just biased to Jack Swagger. I've always been a big fan.
Me and you both. We might be his two biggest fans on this podcast right now.
Exactly. Word up. For real.
But he's also got his upcoming debut for Bellator that's coming up too. So he's also doing his MMA thing on top of that. So Swagger's doing some stuff. Now I would love him to be in AEW. And that would definitely be something that locked me in every week. Just to watch, just to see Swagger. But yeah, I mean, I think AEW, it's a lot of hype around it right now. We're all expecting something big from it. We just have to give it some time, see how the stories play out, see how the roster builds. And who knows, they could not only compete, maybe they might end up being bigger than WWE at some point. One can only hope. Okay. So other than AEW, we do also want to talk more about WWE as well. I know, we usually spend a lot of time talking about WWE, but we know January is not only the kickstart of the road to WrestleMania, but this is also the kickstart of the first of the big 4 pay-per-views, which is the Royal Rumble. All right, so with that being said, I've been on vacation. I just got back from Vegas last week. Off of my, anniversary trip. Me and my wife lived it up a little bit. Spent a lot of time over the holidays with family. So I have not been well-versed in the stories that have been going on with WWE right now leading to the Royal Rumble. So how do you guys feel the current shape, just from what you've seen so far, the Royal Rumble is shaping up to be right now? And do you got any guys that you think we should be on the lookout for?
Well, I think as far as the Royal Rumbles, because the actual Royal Rumble match is concerned, I'm really big on Seth right now. I'm really liking Seth Rollins to win the Royal Rumble. As far as on the women's side, I'm really pulling for somebody other than who's been at the top of the I guess the women's heavyweight title picture, like Nia and all of that. I'm pulling for one of the mid card ladies. Someone's sort of a surprise this year, so we'll see. Maybe Ruby or someone like that can pull it off.
Facts. That would definitely be my pick for the women's Royal Rumble. Ruby is one of those people that's kind of flying under the radar right now, so I would definitely see her in that one. All right, so if I'm just looking up some information, because like I said, I haven't really been well versed on, the card so far, for the Royal Rumble. I think, what do we have here? Let's see. First of all, the storylines that they've had leading up to it. We've seen the return of John Cena. So do you think John Cena is going to play a big part in the Royal Rumble this year?
I think I don't think he's going to play a big part. I think it's going to be for this year, especially the way his schedule's been going. I think he's going to go in there, give his typical John Cena, not typical John Cena showing, but he's going to play up to the crowd for a little bit. And then I think they're really just going to go to whatever storyline they're gonna have him with. I think basically the Royal Rumble, I think we're gonna see pretty much who John will be facing at WrestleMania. I don't think he's gonna have that big of a showing where he's eliminating 8-9 guys and going 40 minutes or whatever.
Okay. Lady Great One, you got any interesting commentary on the picture for Royal Rumble so far before we move into the matches that were confirmed?
Well, if y'all
Let me
don't want that, just give me go ahead and talk and skip over that, and I'll. Hello.
Yeah, you were cutting out, but I think I heard you say you could go ahead and skip over that and move on to the matches. I think we lost Lady Great One here.
I think. Uh-oh.
Well, moving right along. She'll be back on the line. We'll have her back on. So far, when pulling up the card, so far it's 8 confirmed matches. So of course we got the 2 Royal Rumble matches. Where both, the winner of the main event, or the winner of the Royal Rumble, which they've announced is no longer announcing as the main event at WrestleMania, but get a guaranteed World Championship match at WrestleMania for both respective Royal Rumbles. We have Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman for the Universal title, this confirmed. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE title, this confirmed. Sasha Banks versus Ronda Rousey for the women's title, this confirmed. Asuka versus Becky Lynch for the SmackDown women's title, is confirmed. Shane McMahon and The Miz have inserted themselves into the tag team division and now confirmed to go against the Bar for the tag team champions on SmackDown. And then currently we have a fatal 4-way match, which probably could change because, they like to do 205 Live dirty. But right now it's a fatal 4-way match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Buddy Murphy, Akira Tozawa, Kalisto, and Hideo Itami. So they're shaping up to have a decent card once again. And it goes back to that question that I asked a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. I'm not a Roman hater. I love Roman Reigns to death. But it just seems like since Roman has been down, they've been able to build a better card with each pay-per-view that passes. So with the matches that we have so far that have been confirmed, any matches that you think that you're looking forward to the most right now?
Oh, man, I think right off the top, man, anything with Becky Lynch is going to be, I think right now, the biggest anything. I mean, Becky is super over. Anything she touches is white hot. So I think that actually has the chance to be the match of the night. I'm actually interested to see the tag team match between Shane and The Miz against the Bar. I don't actually know why. I think I'm just really intrigued to see where they're going to go as far as those guys in that program and The Miz and the Shane, how they're going to move forward going deeper into WrestleMania season.
Okay. I think when I'm looking down this list, there's a lot of matches that we've seen before. I'm going to agree with you with the Asuka and Becky Lynch match. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm honestly looking forward to see Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey go. We saw Ronda Rousey have probably her best test last month against Nia Jax in a match that nobody expected to, be as entertaining as it was and the look as realistic as it was.
Right.
So I'm interested to see how the rookie style versus, the rookie style with the MMA background that Ronda Rousey has versus Sasha Banks, so we know when the spotlight is on, she can put on a show. So I'm definitely looking forward to both of the women's matches. I know the Cruiserweight match is going to be dope if they keep it on the card. If they don't keep it on the card, even if they push it on the pre-show, I know it's going to be dope.
Right,
Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles have been a great match every time they've come together. But at the same time, I don't want them to run this feud into the ground, so to speak. So I want whatever that happens at this pay-per-view to go ahead and end that feud. And really more so, I'm looking for The Miz and Daniel Bryan to jump back into a feud at some point during the road to WrestleMania and for them to have a World Championship match. Now, whether that leads to The Miz winning the Royal Rumble for that to happen or, I don't know. But there's a lot of...
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I would... I
wouldn't mind seeing that.
There's a lot of guys that I would really love to see the Royal Rumble, to win the Royal Rumble. The Miz is one of them. Drew McIntyre is definitely one. We rave over Drew McIntyre on this show.
So Baron Corbin is not one of them?
Hell no. I don't want Baron Corbin to win a Royal Rumble on NBA. I mean, on WWE 2K, much less in real life. If I see him about to win a Royal Rumble in 2K, I'm gonna select whoever's in the ring and throw him out. Like it's that deep.
The Corbin hate is real.
So, Lady Great One, I think I heard you come back in. Are you back on the line with us?
This is what happens when you're live, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. And we're transparent.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello. Am I coming through?
You coming through, but you're real staticky right now and really chopped and screwed right now. It sounds like you're not getting your signal with your stuff over there.
Yeah, you just need. Can you please just give me just a few more minutes, and I will be able to get back in range.
We got you. All right. So yeah, the Royal Rumble is shaping up to be, a good card outside of the Rumble matches. There are some participants that have been confirmed. Of course, we know R-Truth is going to be the number 30 entered in the Royal Rumble this year. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you really feel? What would you rate it if R-Truth really beat the odds and actually won the Royal Rumble?
When they first had, the whole storyline with him being number 30, at first I was like, okay, cool, excitement. Then I was like, well, we know he's not gonna. Well, I guess to answer your question, probably like -3. He'll probably come in and do a dope spot for the fans and probably get a surprise elimination, and then boom, because you have to think, number 30, like, who's gonna be in the ring when he enters at number 30? Like, he could be walking into disaster.
Definitely. I'm thinking, for me personally, if R-Truth was to really win this thing, I would be shocked. And I would actually be really anxious to see how they're going to build on that, because they have not pushed R-Truth in many a year. So it's like you would have to put too much story behind it for him to legitimately win and go to WrestleMania as the number 1 contender for the WWE title. So if I'm going to give a 1 to 10 rating, I'm going to probably give a 4. I think I would be initially excited, but it's just like it's something you can't really build around, so to speak. Some of the other people that have been announced for the Royal Rumble, once again, one of the guys that I said would be my favorite, Drew McIntyre. All of the New Day. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, your pick. Jeff Hardy, Dean Ambrose, Bobby Lashley, Samoa Joe, John Cena, Elias, your boy Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal, Apollo Crews, Andrade Cien Almas, Mustafa Ali, and Rey Mysterio. So it's a lot of names that are going to be in there. We'll probably see a lot of good spots from, but I don't know if I can really call it right now. I think I'm going to stick with my pick.
I just want Andrade to be at least Final Four. That's my guy. I want him to be very, very successful. I hope he was a future WWE champion.
As do I. Him and Mustafa Ali are guys that I definitely think are the future of the heel face, roster on SmackDown right now. Though they're fairly new on the main roster, but I think that those guys do have the ability to make an impact if given the shot. For the Women's Royal Rumble right now, of course, we know Carmella is coming in number 30 for the Women's Royal Rumble. Former Money in the Bank winner, former SmackDown Live Women's Champion. We also have many women from the Raw roster that are already confirmed. Ember Moon, Natalya, Bayley, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Sasha Banks, Alicia Fox. Then from SmackDown, we got Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Zelina Vega, and Naomi that have been confirmed. So once again, a lot of big names in the Women's Royal Rumble that have been confirmed so far. You mentioned maybe before the show, I think you mentioned that one of your favorites, somebody that you would like to see win, would be Ruby Riott. So why do you think that? What would you want Ruby Riott to win the Royal Rumble for? What makes her number 1 contender worthy?
Man, I just think Ruby on that stage going into WrestleMania, I think she would be just like a great heel. I just love her with the Riot Squad. I think a storyline with them and whoever is the Raw Women's Champion would just be money, because I think she is genuinely a natural heel. And on the other side, if I can have pick who I would, if I could pick a SmackDown diva who has a chance, I would go with Deville. She's just badass, and I just feel like she would just be money as a heel going into whoever's the champion into WrestleMania season. I just think that would just be great if the Machine put it behind them and really and believed in that too. I think those two names right there as big time heels going into WrestleMania would be gold.
For sure, for sure. There's a lot of names on this list that, like you said, fall in that mid-card women's category that can make a big impact if they won. If not Ruby Riott, I think that probably one of the most deserving women, especially from the younger generation right now to win this one, would probably be Ember Moon. I think that people have probably been waiting for her to get her comeuppance on the main roster. Of course, there's a lot of been rumblings that a lot of her lack of push, so to speak, has been because her husband has been so outspoken on social media. But Ember Moon she's one of those people you can't deny her talent, so I would definitely like to see her win it.
Agree. Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody from the Four Horsemen women win this thing. So I don't want to see a Sasha Banks win. I don't want to see a Bayley win, so to speak. I don't want to see...
Oh, man, anybody but Bayley.
I don't even want to see Charlotte win this. Like, if Charlotte wins this, I riot. Right. I really don't want to see Charlotte win anything else for any time soon. And it's not to take away from the fact that she's really a great talent, because she is, but it's just like she wins everything. She's won the first of so much stuff.
I feel like Charlotte is one of those where she's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time, so she's always going to get those title shots. So it's like, I just don't want to see it right now.
For sure, for sure. If she's still with the company over the next couple of years, she's probably in for the long haul. She can win a future Royal Rumble down the line, maybe after she's been out of the spotlight for just a second, or, maybe in the midst of a better story, but she's definitely not who I want to see win the Royal Rumble this year. And it's quite a huge possibility, if she's announced for the Royal Rumble, that if she goes in and wins it, then she would select to fight Ronda Rousey and we get that match. So if it happens, I think people will be happy to get that whole Four Horsewomen feud thing going on, but I really think you could use that spot to build somebody else. Like you said, Ruby Riott would be a great one. Ember Moon would be a great one. Hell, even Naomi, she's been out of the top picture for a while. So, for her to get a shot would be something that I would at least be interested in hearing out what they're going to do with her on the road to WrestleMania.
Well, how about, and this is just, and I don't mean to cut you off, but how about, me just playing fantasy here. With all the hype of AEW and everything going on, wouldn't it, or to me, I think it would be a great time for WWE to kind of send some shock value and have probably a NXT woman end up winning the Royal Rumble and just get that exciting buzz. You know what I'm saying?
So who would you pick from NXT right now? I think the easy
Baszler,
pick. I was going to say the easy pick is Shayna Baszler.
Baszler off the rip, because I would be sold if she won, because no matter what NXT main roster, I feel like if I seen her enter, I'm automatically, okay, she's about to whoop ass. Mm-hmm. And if she won it, I'd be like, whether it's Rousey or Becky or whoever, she's going to whoop some ass. We know it's going to be a fight, at least. So I would love to personally see, even though the easy pick would be Rousey and Baszler, even though I would like that, I would actually like to see Baszler and Becky. I think that match would be probably still the show type for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. I can definitely agree with that one. I think the Shayna Baszler right now is probably the head and shoulders number one pick. I think that we haven't really got a chance to see, the EST of NXT, so to speak, we haven't really got to see her get her full shine on in NXT, and I want them to build her up a little more before I see her come to the main roster. But she's definitely, if I wanted to say if she was ready, she's definitely ready, gimmick and all. But I think I just need her stock to come up a little bit before they decide to bring her up to the main roster. Kairi Sane, I mean, she's already done what she's going to do in NXT. She can come up, but she's going to be another Asuka. No, I mean, I'm not trying to be racist, at any point, but, it's going to be hard to try to book her when you're not even booking your top Japanese woman, the way you should on the main roster. Like, you just put the title back on Asuka, so to speak.
Yeah, I definitely expect to see her in the Rumble. I expect to see both of them in the Rumble, actually, but will they win it? We'll see, but I hope so. I hope they are at least in it.
Mm-hmm. Factual.
Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello.
We can hear you. Guess who's back? Back again.
Back again. Hey. Swerve first. Hey, tell a friend. I had to edit it up a little bit there.
So we were just talking right now. We were just discussing the Women's Royal Rumble, and it's perfect that you came in at that time. So what is your thought process right now?
Okay, so I've been able to hear you guys, but I know y'all couldn't hear me because I had a poor connection going on. I had to make a quick trip. But yes, so talking about the Women's Royal Rumble, tongue twisted a little bit. Just let's say that again 5 times fast, and I'm not going to try. So when it comes to the Women's Royal Rumble, you've already got some people who I think need that spotlight of the Rumble and what it could possibly be. Like, of course, we got the 4 horsewomen. 3 of the 4 horsewomen are possibly going to be in there. I'm not sure if Charlotte or Bayley are going to be involved. But I know that Sasha Banks is already having her match with Ronda Rousey, and Becky Lynch is having her match with Asuka. So there's still 2 more women. So I think that Bayley would be a good one because, of course, I mean, if you got to go through the 4 horsewomen, and with Becky being the ultimate prize, so to speak, if they're not going to use Charlotte as that for Mania, then Bayley would definitely be a person that I would look towards being the winner of this year's Royal Rumble. Now, taking them out of the picture, I would definitely like to see somebody, like you said, as a Ruby Riott or Ember Moon get that opportunity as well. Mandy Rose is a dark horse pick. I think that the way that they've been doing this little story so far with Mandy and Naomi, it seems like they're really trying to build more with Mandy Rose. Yes, she is another blonde, and like WWE needs actually more beautiful blonde women in their company, and they've got that in Mandy Rose. And Corey's lust for her is not unknown. So if they're going to push her, then you might as well push her on the greatest or on the second greatest stage of them all, and give her an opportunity at the greatest stage of them all at WrestleMania and let her win the Royal Rumble. So there's a lot of interesting things, and I'm really wondering, like you said, the call-ups, the surprises. I was on Instagram, and one of my favorites, this is going to be her last year in wrestling. She's about to be done, and I would like to see her come back one last time, even if it's for just a little pop-up spot. But Victoria has announced that she is going to be 2019, and she's done. She's retiring after this year. So I would love to see the legend of Victoria come back for the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble, the second one. She wasn't in the first one. So that would be my legend, just to at least come back, make an appearance. I would love to see her on her farewell tour, get a chance to come back and show these young girls how it's done.
Definitely. I've always loved Victoria. I think she was one of those people that was kind of, people overlook her history in WWE. Victoria was probably one of the best wrestlers while she was there that nobody talked about when she was there. The Widow's Peak was probably one of the most devastating finishes that I've seen. Not just a women's finisher, but just in general, one of the most devastating finishers that I saw back in the day. And she's definitely, like you said, I would love to see her in the Royal Rumble. Okay. Anybody else you would like to see? Or who do you think will win?
Okay, another legend that I would like to see make a pop-up this year would also be Melina. I mean,
are they on good terms? Is she allowed to come back?
I don't know that, but I would want to see her back. I mean, they did mention her at Evolution. Yeah. So, I mean, she was mentioned, she was noted. She wasn't able to make it back for that, but she has been mentioned. So, I mean, and she was also called out by a certain female superstar by the name of Naomi. So, if you're going to do it, go ahead and do it now. I mean, strike while the iron's hot. Try to get new legends. Don't always rely on Mickie James. Don't always rely on Lita. Don't always rely on Trish Stratus. Mm-hmm. Kelly. God knows I've had enough Kelly. Yeah, she's still younger than half the women on the roster. But and that's a funny thought. Think about it. Kelly has been out of the business for a while now, and she's still younger than some of the women on the roster. Yeah, it's amazing.
Is she 30 yet? I don't even know if she's 30. If she is 30, she's got to be like 30 on the dot, because she was real young. Yeah. I remember her being younger than me.
She was 19 when she started.
Yeah, I remember her being younger than me, and I was pretty young when she was out. I know I was in my early 20s, so she's got to be like late 20s or either like 30 on the dot. Matter of fact, we have the power of the internet here. I can look that up really quick. I know it's not really that important, but at the same time, it's going to bug the hell out of me if I don't find out.
So okay. And while you're looking it up, sir, there was another name that I wanted to mention before I forget again. Okay. I would also like to see a return of Miss Layla. I would like to see her have Layla make a return with Michelle McCool and come back as Simply Flawless one last time. Yeah, I know they'll be bringing back Michelle McCool for a third outing, but still, she's in incredible shape, and I think that Michelle McCool could definitely do it again. And I wouldn't mind seeing her and Layla get together one more time, and then maybe have a little meet up with the Riot Squad. And that would be just a little classic moment. Not sure how you guys feel about it, but that would be a classic moment for me. So, yeah, flawless.
So Kelly is 31.
Okay, she's 31. That means, yes, she is younger than half the women on the roster.
And she'll be 32 next week.
Well, happy early birthday, Kelly.
Don't ever come back.
No, she can come back. She can make a pop-up, but don't try to go back full-time. That's all I say, please. Unless you can get off them ropes a little bit better and put a little bit more effort into it, don't. Just come back sporadically. We don't need you in the Hall of Fame. No offense. We don't. Well, this is just my opinion. I don't know. I mean, I know she's still absolutely beautiful. She's always been a beautiful woman, but that was in the time of divas. We're now in the era of the women's superstars. So let's let the divas be divas. Starting with Kelly.
Big facts. Let them be divas. Don't bring them back. Don't set the expectation for them to be able to come back and be full-time. I definitely do not want to see Kelly on my TV. Let's see. So just to kind of bounce back to the Royal Rumble for the men's side, which more members of the men's Royal Rumble have been announced already, I want to jump back to this whole John Cena thing for a second. Like I said, I haven't really been watching a whole lot lately. But what the hell is going on with John Cena's hair right now?
Hollywood
John Bradshaw Cena.
Oh my!
John Bradshaw Cena.
That good old Hollywood hair.
And he's been in China for the last 3 months or 6 months, however long he's been there. What do you think John Cena's role is in his return now? Is he just going to be back to be putting guys over? Or are we going to get a main event, John? Or what do you think John is going to... What do you think he has in store for us here?
With John Cena, I think that he's just back because nobody has fully proven outside of the ones who are already been established to handle that top spot. Um, he keeps having to come back. Well, this was what he was saying. It was like, why? Why do I have to keep coming back? Like, y'all are not proving that y'all can handle this on your own. Y'all are not proving that y'all can put on a good show without me. Y'all are not proving these things. So that's his words, not mine. But there has not been somebody to sell as much merch as of lately. I mean, with the exit of Roman, really, it did leave a huge void as to who is the face of the company. Now, the one person who has really and truly stepped up and built their stock is not even a man. Maybe it is time to have a female face of the company and let that go ahead and be Becky Lynch. Let that be Ronda Rousey. Let a woman take those reins. Let Charlotte be the face. I mean, you got to have somebody there to take the face. And if you're going to base it off of sales, off of popularity, off of everything that's going on, I've seen more the man and rowdy shirts than anything else. I haven't seen any all hail to the queen. I haven't seen many princesses of Staten Islands running around. I haven't seen Mela is Money running around as much as I've seen the man. So it speaks volumes.
Okay, I can definitely get with those three being, the biggest faces of the company. You know, one up and comer, one who already had a lot of stock that was built outside of WWE before getting there, and then one is the daughter of probably the greatest of all time, and it shaped up her career to probably be one of the greatest of all time as well. But I think that, like you said, it's really just hard to put, because everybody wants to be the cool, badass heel in this generation. And nobody really wants to be the goody two-shoes face of this generation. I think they're probably the biggest two guys in the company right now. The biggest two guys in the company right now are Seth Rollins and probably AJ Styles to fill that void, so to speak.
I can agree with that, yeah. Mm-hmm. I can agree with that. I think Cena's. I think we probably will see Cena come back every now and again for like the real big match. I don't think he'll be delegated to like any real serious mid-carders unless they see that mid-card actually making the jump to main event status. I think he'll be a special occasion. I think he'll be treated delicately as he comes back and be, really protected, on his appearances and when he comes back and who he comes back for or to work with.
Okay. Man, I would love to see somebody like that is like on the cusp of that major, like main event picture to be put over by John Cena. So if he's gonna put somebody over to launch them into superstardom, if I got one name that I want to pick right now, it'd probably be Samoa Joe, so to speak. I think that Samoa Joe is always in a high profile match, but he can't seem to get that big win. And I think that a win over John Cena would push him in definitely the right direction.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think that would be cool. I was sitting here thinking about that as you said that, and I really can't. I probably think of a name in a little bit, but right now, probably Samoa Joe would probably be the best one right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean Samoa Joe, maybe Drew McIntyre. Just thinking of heels that are right there on the cusp. Drew McIntyre really doesn't even need it because he's holding his own on Raw right now. So I would really say more so Samoa Joe. But other than that, you about to say something?
Andrade.
Yes, that's my guy. I want him. That's the future WWE champ. I'm trying to tell you guys.
Definitely Andrade.
Oh, I'm right there with y'all. I didn't get a chance to say my men's picks and things, but I feel that Mustafa Ali and Andrade Cien Almas are going to be two other people who show out really well. And excuse me for any background noise that you might have because If y'all don't know, I'm like Heath Slater. I got kids. So so if you're hearing any extra background noise that you shouldn't be hearing, I got my son running through right now. But yeah, I've got my picks are Mustafa Ali or Andrade Cien Almas. Somebody I'd like to see come back again. I would love to see MVP. I would love to see possibly a CM Punk return. That's actually the person I would really, really love to see come back. And then, of course, possibly some good debuts. I would love to see a Marty Scurll debut or a Kenny Omega debut. I already stated that earlier when we were talking about AEW. I would love to see those members of the Bullet Club and actually give us something to get excited about again. There's so many different names. And then, like, with call-ups, I mean, maybe Adam Cole, the Velveteen Dream, will definitely be another one of those people. Of course, I got to mention him every week on the show because he's really, really high on my radar. So, yeah, we've got some really, really, really great people that I see could possibly do it. But overall, if I'm going to go with somebody current right now, my top two, besides the new people that I just said, besides Andrade Cien Almas and Mustafa Ali, who I actually think is going to probably win it, is going to be Seth Rollins.
Okay.
I think that Seth Rollins is more than likely going to be the winner because I read rumors and I don't know if rumors might be true. I mean,
that's my guy. Burn it down. Let's go.
I mean, I love Seth. Don't get me wrong. Y'all know that I love Seth. And I mean, like, I feel that he might be the one facing Brock if Braun doesn't take this title off. So I really hope that Braun does because, you know, he needs his time, even if it's for a month, just to get that title off of Brock so we can be done with Brock Lesnar.
Facts. Well, I'm gonna definitely jump into the final thought here. Those are a lot of good. I don't want to put too much into the Rumble because the picture is still building right now. We still got about 2 weeks before the Rumble is set to hit. So we got a lot of time to talk about the story, the card, and how the build-up is gonna go. For me personally, I'm gonna go ahead and give my final thought first. So recently we just lost one of the greats in wrestling history, probably the most well-known and popular wrestling culture, as far as an interviewer, as far as, you know, commentary. Mean Gene Okerlund did pass recently. Definitely my condolences go out to his family. I know the wrestling world is definitely hurting right now. So if anybody is out there that's listening, definitely rest in peace to Mean Gene Okerlund. And I'll pass it off to you, Lady Great One, if you want to go with your final thought next.
If you want to, while I'm still gathering up my final thoughts, go ahead, Chill. You're the guest. I'll let you go ahead.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I want to say appreciate it for letting me be a guest on the show tonight. So hopefully this is one of a couple of appearances I make. But as a final thought, just a quick little fun final thought, since we kind of talked a long time about the Royal Rumble. I'm like a geek for wrestling, always been. And one of my favorite parts of wrestling growing up was seeing the pay-per-view stages. So when they said that the Royal Rumble was going to be in Arizona at the baseball stadium where the Arizona Diamondbacks play, I'm really, I guess you can say, hoping to mark out as far as what that stage is going to look like, how that Royal Rumble stage is going to look like in such a huge stadium for the Royal Rumble. I think it's the first time the Royal Rumble is going to be in a stadium like this. So I'm very excited about it. It's my favorite pay-per-view, and I'm ready to go. So that's my final thought.
And it's always great to have you on here, Chill. And I hope this is the first of many, many extra appearances that we're going to have here. And not only that, but thanks for that dope track. Once again, I got to say thank you on that.
Thank you so much. No problem.
That alone just earned you a lot of episodes in the future. You were already invited, but now it's like, look, we got to have you on a couple more shows after that.
Hey, anytime.
So
Absolutely.
with that being said, that was another episode of Marking Out Amongst Friends, the podcast. Once again, this is your boy Jay Reedy in the building. Also in the building, once again, it's been Chill P, Lady Great One. If you don't follow us on the Game Runners. Follow the page Marking Out Amongst Friends on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. If you don't listen to us live, download the application. Follow Chill P. What's your underscore on Twitter, on Instagram?
Instagram is official Chill P. Just official Chill P.
All right, follow official Chill P on Instagram. Check out some of his other songs as well as this song. I think he's got a couple of tracks on YouTube that are doing numbers. They're going up right now. So definitely check him out. But other than that, Marking Out Amongst Friends, out. And before we are out, let me go ahead and hit that damn music one more again.
Hey.
Top with the top splash. Leader of the new school, ain't no way to stop us. Mark it out, screaming loud, tell me who you with. Competition is none, cause we lunatics. Walk with me down these roads if you're all in. I love the feeling, baby, time to go to work again. Come together like a fist and we do it proud. Light it up and burn it down, cause we marking out.